Good morning, my friends. It is Thursday, which means it's my favorite day of the week because I get to hang out with you guys. I've actually already been kind of chatting in the live chat with you guys this morning. We have Divine Babe Oracle here. We have Laser Etching, etc. 3966 already joined us early. V Marshall joined us early too. So I wanted to say hi, and I see you guys, and it is me who is responding to each of you guys in the live chat. So what I wanted to say really quickly today was I live in Michigan. If some of you might know that or might not know that, but I live in Lansing, Michigan, and it is cold, y'all. That's why I have my hoodie on today. It is like, I think we're going to be in the 30s again today. So we are 100%. Like we talked a couple months ago about how we're 100% in Q4. Now we are 100% into like winter for me. So I would love to know where all of you guys are tuning in from. Are you in the States? Are you in the East Coast, the West Coast? Are you in the South? I'm from Florida, so that's technically, I guess, the southest you could get. And I wish I was there right now because it's very, very cold where I am. But let me know where you guys are tuning in from. I just like to see, because we have a couple people that come on internationally every week with us. Really like to see where you guys are kind of calling in from. The second thing I wanted to mention real fast is just some quick updates before we get into our kind of training or our conversation for today. If you guys have any questions as we are going through stuff, as always, drop them in the live chat and I will answer them live at the end. As you guys know, if you have been here with me for a couple of weeks or even a couple of years, because some of you guys have literally been here since February of 24, which is crazy. So we are literally nearing up on our 2-year mark, and I'm so honored to be a part of this and hang out with you guys every single week. So if you have not been a part of this, however, please drop any of your questions or comments in the live chat, because those who have been here for a while with me will know that I have ADHD and I will forget everything that I was planning on saying if I continue to look at the live chat while I'm chatting about stuff. So I'll get to all of those at the end. Fear not. I will make sure that we save some time and carve out to address any questions or comments or concerns you have about anything that we chat about today. So go ahead and drop those in the live chat while we're conversating today. And if you are watching this replay and you were unable to join us live, you can drop any comments or questions in the comment section of this video, and it will be me to reply to those as well. So that's one little quick thing for today. As it relates to quick updates for the week, I wanted to show you guys a little something. Let me see if I can share my screen real fast. So if you guys have EverBee Store, I just wanted to let you guys know that we now have a new app. Let me see if I can pop it up here. Hopefully you guys are looking at the same thing I am. So we now have a new app. You'll see we have subscriptions, Printify, Shine On, and we just added Pentane this past week. So you'll see them right here. This is a really, really awesome company who is going to basically help you streamline your profitability in your business. So it's going to be a really, really great thing for anyone who does have EverBee Store, for us to be able to like sync and integrate with them very naturally and be able to see like how much money you're actually making, how well your ads are performing. Do you need to go up or down in your actual pricing for each of your individual items? What's your discount structure look like, etc. So just wanted to let you guys know that they are, I'm going to remove this now, that they are now added in there as of this week. And I actually just spoke myself yesterday with the CEO. His name is Adam, and he's so awesome and one of probably the coolest brains I've ever had the opportunity to speak with. So I'm very, very excited to let you guys know that he will be coming on our live next Thursday. So November 13th at 10 a.m., just like we always do. But he's going to be coming on, and we are going to literally have an entire training, an entire conversation related specifically to profitability and how you guys are going to be able to increase your profits and really not have to worry about the biggest common question that I get from you guys all the time being, how do I price myself against competitors who are doing super low potential loss leader strategies on Etsy? We are going to do an entire training about profitability and how to make that not even a concern anymore in the future, whether you're on Etsy, whether you're on EverBee Store, or whether you're on a totally different platform and you just like hanging out with us and learning on a weekly basis. So wanted to let you guys know that is coming next Thursday. We'll put some information in the Facebook group when that is ready to go live. But again, just wanted to let you guys know for today. The other thing I wanted to quickly let you guys know is obviously Black Friday is coming up faster than I can say it's already November, which is crazy to me because, oh shoot, I just realized my birthday's in 2 days. Oh my God, I told like not that I forgot it's my birthday. I know it's my birthday, but the fact that it's November 2nd or 6th and my birthday's the 8th. The fact that it's November 6th, I'm like, where in the world did 2025 go? It's absolutely insane. But because of that, because it is my birthday, that means that Thanksgiving, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, Christmas, Kwanzaa, anything is happening over the next less than 60 days. So I wanted to let you guys know to be on alert for what we have coming for Black Friday, Cyber Monday. I'm not going to tell you guys about it at all now. We're going to start teasing it within the next week or two, but I want to make sure that you're in our private Facebook group in case you want to be one of the first ones to know about this ridiculous bundle that we're getting out. And I'm talking like, you guys are going to get, I've personally curated a lot of it and you guys are getting, it's the biggest Black Friday special we've ever done. And I want to say there's 12 bonuses or something. It's absolutely crazy. So anyways, I'm going to put a pin in it for now because I will say too much and I'll get in trouble. I don't want to say too much, but want to let you guys know that that is coming very, very soon. So please be on the lookout for that in our private Facebook group. And last but not least, again, thinking about the Black Friday, Cyber Monday time as well, wanted to let you guys know that if you are familiar or if you've seen Jenny from the shop on YouTube or on TikTok, she's actually the Instagram and TikTok creator for EverBee. And I wanted to let you guys know that I'm actually going to have the opportunity to have her here as well on November 20th, I believe is the date. Let me double check. Yes, so Thursday, November 20th. So next week, we're going to have Adam and we're going to talk all about profitability. Then the following week on Thursday, the 20th, we are going to be talking all about design and how Jenny makes these awesome designs and how she scales designs to go across multiple different niches. So that's going to be really, really helpful to help plan out your 2026 listing strategy. And then one little last update is because it is Thanksgiving, the 27th, we will not have a coffee with EverBee. So we're stacking up a lot of really awesome conversations. We're doing an Etsy audit today for the next 3 weeks, and then we will be spending time with our families. And we hope that you are spending time with yours as well on Thursday, the 27th. So with that said, that is all that I have announcements and updates wise today. So now we are going to be getting into some Etsy audits. So in our private Facebook group, I give you guys the opportunity every quarter or so. Sometimes we do it more than one time in a 3-month period. But for me to be able to actually go into your Etsy shops right here on this live, and you can ask questions in the real time. If you're not even being shown today, you can still ask questions in real time. So that's what we're going to do today. So I'm going to go ahead and open up my screen to be the very first one we're going to be looking at. Before I do that, though, I want to let you guys know what we usually look for if you are unaware or if you haven't been to one of these yet. So usually what we will do is kind of look at aesthetics and branding and making sure that it feels very cohesive across the entire shop. We're also obviously going to take a look at SEO and see if you are following the newest guidelines that Etsy laid out, I believe in September. Yeah, it was either September or the very first week of October. So we're going to take a look at that as well. We're also going to take a look at probably, in my opinion, the most important thing, the thing that I love the most is the photos. So how are your photos doing? Do they need to be elevated in any way? Do you have enough photos? Whatever it may be. And then finally, if I were to purchase something from you today, I cover my eyes and I choose a listing. So if I found a random listing on your page and I was a random shopper and I came in and I saw your listing, would I buy it? Yes or no? What is the scale of buyability, if you will? And from there, I will let you know why and how you can fix it if it's not something that I would have personally purchased that day. Obviously, keeping in mind that you might not be making anything that I like. That is not going to be a biased situation whatsoever. It's really going to be focused on, did I get enough information from your listing to be able to make the right decision? Okay, so hope all that makes sense. If you have not been here yet, let's go ahead and share my screen and check out our first one today. As I mentioned, we do have 11 shops that did submit things. So I'm going to go a little bit faster than usual today because I really, really do want to get through all 11 of these through the next 50 minutes, preferably earlier, because I do want to open up the floor for some questions. So just know if we're going a little bit faster than we might have done this in the past, that is why, because I want to make sure I can get to you guys. So let's go ahead and start with Tumble into Tumblers. So they have 110 sales over the course of around 3 years on Etsy. So the first thing that I'm going to say when we talk about aesthetics is this is kind of, let's think about like a website, for example. We've talked about this multiple times on here, that a website, when we look at things on here, like on a website or on Etsy in this case, it's called above the fold, which basically means like before someone scrolls. So in this particular case, what am I seeing above the fold? I'm seeing a banner. I'm seeing a logo-ish, which we'll talk about that in a second. I'm seeing their name. I'm seeing their star rating, how many sales, how long, where they're at, whatever, right? So this is something that's very important on multiple places. So not just your Etsy shop, also more importantly, if not, on your website. So I'm going to give you guys a quick little show real fast. If you haven't seen this before, let me go ahead and share. So this is an example of what it could look like when I talk about above the fold on a website. So this is my personal EverBee store. So there's going to be a hero image at the very top. As you can see, it's like a hero image on top of another hero image in the background. And then there is information that is calling out my ideal person. So I'm basically qualifying, pre-qualifying, or disqualifying someone before they ever scroll. I also have a menu of items so that they can determine where they want to go. And then right below that, you'll see everything is better when it's free. So these are all here very intentionally above the fold, because the goal is to obviously get them to scroll and get them into my universe. So when we look at this guy over here, that is what I'm thinking immediately, is what is happening above the fold? What is happening before that first scroll? And Tumble into Tumblers is doing a great job in their banner. So most people, which we actually might see today, by the way, a lot of people that I've audited in the past have been putting like their logo or their name or something in the banner. And that's not really helping anyone, because you kind of already have your logo and your name right there above the fold. Even though it's smaller, it's still right there. Tumble into Tumblers. And I'm seeing, like, again, it's not really a logo, it's like a t-shirt, but nonetheless, I'm seeing that already. So the banner is going to be probably your most important thing. So I love that they're showing obviously seasonality, because we're getting into the holiday season. I love that they're showing variability and variations about what different things they offer. So I see, what do you call this? What is that thing called that you put on when you're cooking? Y'all know I cannot come up with the words half the time I'm here. Whatever that thing is that you wear. Apron. Good Lord. There it is. Okay. So we have an apron. We have a hoodie, potentially crew necks, maybe. We also have some ornaments, and we also have potentially the variation of a front and back ornament. And this one made me laugh out loud when I saw it earlier today. So I love what they're doing with their banner, and I highly recommend you guys doing the same. The only thing that I would mention differently here is if Tumble into Tumblers had a special, or if they had a Christmas cutoff date because they used print-on-demand suppliers, or if they wanted free shipping for all holiday offers, whatever it is, that's the only thing that I would change about this banner to be even more lucrative for you and guarantee that they want to scroll. So great job here. The only thing that I would say up in this above the fold area is this is a random t-shirt in your logo section, and I think we can change that to either be a logo or a photo of yourself. Okay. Scrolling on down, it looks like they have an Etsy Plus subscription, I believe is what it's called, because their featured items show 2 big ones and then 3 small ones. So what I like about these is, first of all, let me see if I can scroll out a little bit so you can see them all at once. There we go. So I actually really love all of these mock-ups. I think they are zoomed in enough where you're able to see the item itself, which is really helpful, because sometimes mock-ups can be a little bit too busy and they can have a lot of stuff in the background, and then like your mug is like way up here, and then they have all this stuff in the background that detracts from the actual item itself. So I love that these are zoomed in as they should. I know exactly what I'm getting, but there is still that aesthetic in the background. So we have the snowflakes on the piece on Earth. We got a little Christmas tree on the Harmony Victorian one. And then the thing that I love the most is going to be the first one that shows all different sides. So I really like that idea. The only thing I would say, completely kind of unrelated to the audit itself, but just as a little design note, it looks like your design might need to be on this winter wonderland. It looks like your design might need to be scaled down just a tiny bit because you might get things cut off on the bottom where it says the T in winter, the W, D, L, and D in wonderland. So it might just need to be a little bit scaled, and I'm talking like very, very, very minorly, but just one little quick thing there. The Peace on Earth one is perfect as is. I also want to highlight really quickly, it looks like 4 out of 5 of these actually have videos in the ones that she's featuring. So I love that, and I think that's very smart. I recommend having a video on every single item that you can do. Usually what I recommend doing is going a little bit more in depth with your video, but in this case, I think it's fine just to kind of have a collection of photos to make the video is what they're doing here. Cool. The other thing we have over here is our sections. So I like to see, do these sections make sense for SEO? In this case, tumblers, glasses, and mugs, those are individualized keywords, so they're going to have a lot more competition. So if I were you, I would actually adjust this to be a little bit more fine-tuned. So for example, if I go here, tumblers, glasses, and mugs, well, first of all, totally random, but there it looks like there's like a random crew neck here. So that might be something that you want to get out of there. It looks like everything else is tumblers, glasses, and mugs. So what I would say is actually splitting these up into 3 different sections so someone doesn't have to scroll through 118 items in order to find what they want. So I would actually have section of tumblers, section of glasses, section of mugs. And then if we could even go down a little bit further, like I do see, it's kind of funny. I do see this Foxtrot Delta Tango, which maybe you guys know what that is. It's a little bit of an inside joke sometimes, but you could have like political mugs, and then that would be even more fine-tuned than just the super oversaturated mugs category, or holiday mugs, holiday themed mugs, and then that's going to be this one, this one, this one, this one, this one. So that will allow you to have higher potential for SEO, for search intent, that people are actually typing in Christmas mugs, Thanksgiving mugs, holiday mugs, political mugs, etc., rather than just tumblers, glasses, and mugs. However, if you don't want to do that, which is totally fine, this is your business, but if you don't want to do that, I would just do your due diligence of at least, and it'll only take you a little while because all you got to do is really go into the back end of Etsy, make 2 more sections, delete glasses and mugs from tumblers, and then just like select the ones that you want to go into those individual places. So I would split this into 3. And if you can split them even deeper into SEO, like cross niching or just niching them down in some way, recommend. But again, just at least breaking them into 3. And then I would say the exact same thing here. Okay. Hope that makes sense. All right, let's go back to where we were. Okay. All right. So we're back at the home page. So now I'm going to come down a little bit. I'm going to see about her about section. Okay, so it looks like all of her policies are listed, but it looks like this could be updated. Oh my God, Charlotte. Oh wait, no, that's just Printful. Never mind. I was about to tell you, I'm actually going to Charlotte in 2 weeks. I was like, we should link up, but that's not you. That's Printful. But anyways, what I would say here is we can build this much deeper to be really, really focused on the buyer themselves. So yes, it is an about section about you, technically your shop as well, but it really, really needs to be focused on your people in general. So I'm going to share my tab again over here, show you a quick example. Again, this is not Etsy, but just to kind of show you what I mean by speaking to your audience on your about page. Even though you're talking about yourself, we're also going to be talking about them. So I built the business I couldn't find, and now I help you do the same. So I was looking for something, and I want to help you do that as well. That's going to increase intrigue. Someone's going to be like, what did you not have? How do you get it? Right. And then a little bit about EverBee. This is the only thing that's really about me though. Right. So everything else so far has really been about how I'm going to help somebody else out. And then it's going to be like, hey, I'm Leslie. I do these things, and I help you do these things, right? And then I'm going to see these are the 2 ways that we work together. Here's some examples of places that I have worked because I'm an online business owner, blah, blah, blah. So just wanted to quickly hit that little note that your about section should be actually really focused on comparatively to being something that you ignore or you put less time into because it's not a listing, because Etsy literally says they want their brand to help keep keep commerce human. So we want to buy from people. We don't want to just buy from brands. So how can you humanize this a little bit, and how can you help me qualify or disqualify myself as a buyer? All right. That's that. So the next thing we're going to do, like always, is I'm going to pick a thing at random. We're going to close my eyes real fast, go up and down. Hopefully I'm not going too far up and down. Let's see what happens. I don't know where I went. Okay, here we are. So it looks like I got us open on a little ornament. So let's go ahead and go into this and figure out, would I buy this if I were looking at this myself? First of all, I love gnomes, so that I might be a little biased here because I actually would buy this simply because it's gnomes, and that's what my entire Christmas decor is. But let's go ahead and look at it a little bit. First of all, the immediate thing that I'm seeing is that's really expensive for an ornament. So what I kind of want to do real fast is just kind of give you guys a little breakdown. If you are selling ornaments this season, I hope this will be helpful. Let's go ahead and share this tab instead. And let me just pull up by ornament. And I'm actually, let's do personalized, because the good news is yours can be a little bit more expensive because it is a personalized ornament. So it's going to say the Smith family, the Gallant family, whatever it is. So that is a little bit more personalized, which allows it to be able to charge more. So I'm going to go ahead and go to product analytics on personalized ornaments. And I want to see what we're dealing with price wise. And I highly recommend that you guys do the exact same thing. Anytime you want to sell something new, or anytime you're asking yourself the question of like, I don't know if this is the right amount. If you're having that like second thought and you're like, I don't know how to price myself around competitors, that's fine. You can do this. So let's go. I'm just going to type it in again. Personalized ornament. And what I'm going to do is, you can see I did go to EverBee database because I want to see everything right now under personalized ornament. There are over 1 million things categorized. So what I like to do is bring revenue to the top or total sales to the top. It's completely up to you, however you want to do it. But I also like to filter a little bit to make sure we're looking at the right thing. So listing age, I'm going to go ahead and put 13 because I want to include anything that was listed in the month of December 2024. So not just 11 through 11, but 12 through 11. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and say the listing age is 13. The listings analyzed is now 685. So it's still really good. But what we're going to do is look at this price. So I'm seeing Mr. and Mrs. ornament is $21.90. However, as you guys know, EverBee does not show discounts. So I'm going to pull this open real fast, and now I can see the difference. So this guy right here was listed at originally $21.90, but it's down to $7.66, and it is currently in 20 plus carts right now. So what I highly recommend you doing, tumble into tumblers, I think was your name, is really kind of going through that exercise, doing it a couple times, seeing a couple of different people, especially if you do not have the sales volume that tells Etsy that you are the best and people should be sent to you naturally. So that is one thing I will say, is the price is already striking me as a no so far, but let's keep going. So it looks like you're using potentially a lot of Printify mockups, which is fine, but I think we can make these a little bit cleaner by having them more lifestyle based, to show like people using them. I love how you have these, by the way. This is great. Cool. I mean, I know what I'm getting, so that's fine. These reviews kind of don't give me exactly what I need, because you're telling me that I'm going to get a tumbler, or excuse me, an ornament, but then all of these are about tumblers or t-shirts, so just something to keep in mind. Also, it looks like there is a little bit of keyword stuffing in here, which is not, I don't want to say against Etsy terms by any means, but it is something that they basically told us recently in their newest update back in September, again, October times, whatever it was, that they don't really want us to do this anymore. They really want us to be speaking to a human and then using the things that describe the item rather than just copying and pasting a bunch of stuff. So custom holiday keepsake family ornament. I would say something like personalized holiday gnomes ornament with family name, something like that. A way to kind of make it look a little bit more in line with what their new changes were. I do love, again, that you are trying to have the last name, the year, number of gnomes, or whatever. I think that's a really, really awesome personalization. Let me look at your description. I feel like that gives me good enough information. I like this as well because this is basically telling me why I should care about this. So tumble into tumblers. I like everything except the price and a little bit of the title as well. But again, the title is fine. It's not going against policies or anything, but it might just be something to think about whenever we're thinking about like the new updates that Etsy gave us. Maybe look into what that was and then just go into ChatGPT and be like, this was my old title. This is what Etsy is telling me to do. What should I do instead? Might help. But again, if you have over 300 listings, I wouldn't go and just start changing a bunch of stuff. Just to note for maybe ones that you make in the future. The biggest issue that I'm seeing, however, is just this ornament price. Everything else actually kind of makes me want to buy this, but I'm definitely not going to be able to commit to this price knowing what your competitors are currently charging for the same kind of item. Okay. All right. So with that said, we're going to move on to our next one. As you know, as always, I usually take, if you're here with me on these, I usually take a little bit longer on the first one so that you guys can get a feel of what I'm going to do going forward. But now we're moving on to Moonflow. I wonder, this is just something that I saw this morning. Moonflow has 3 M's or 3 O's, and then it only has 2 O's here. I didn't know if that was a mistake or if there's another Moonflow studio and you had to have another O. That could be it. I was just wondering. So indulge me if you have the time. All right. So when I see this, this is actually a pretty good example of a perfect hybrid. So I talked earlier about how I loved Tumble into Tumblr's banner because it was strictly what they were selling. And then I talked about how I don't like when people put their name and their logo or whatever, and that's all they do. This is actually a really good hybrid approach because we are seeing that, but we're also seeing, oh, they're on Instagram too. So that is another way. I don't want to get out of Etsy necessarily, but that's another way that I can find them and prove that they're a legitimate business and see what else they have going on. I also love these 2 things right here. However, I did go through your store very, very lightly earlier before we jumped on this morning. And I noticed that you were selling a lot more than just these kind of like tarot cards. So I would recommend, if you can put even more photos or maybe swap out one of these photos with something else that you're offering that you can prove has done well, either for you or in your niche, I think would be really beneficial because we got a lot of white space right here. So what we could do is like literally put something right here, a smaller one. So like copy and paste this little arch guy and then copy and paste this little arch guy right here. And we can show 4 different items instead of just the 2 individual tarot cards. I also like this. So follow the shop. So that's literally telling them right there to drop a heart so that you can see what else is coming anytime she drops a new listing, etc. So I love that. And again, we're above the fold. So I'm seeing that they have, 6 5-stars, they have 16 sales, etc. So this in itself is not a bad thing by any means, but it's something that maybe would make me kind of take pause on whether or not I would purchase, simply because we just don't have the volume yet, but that's why we're here, is to hopefully get that volume. So let's go ahead and go down to the about section real fast. Oh, that's cool. I actually love this idea. Very cool. So what's really, really cool here is this is a perfect example of why this store was built, a little bit about her or them, and why I should care. This is a perfect example of what I meant. It's a little bit shorter than I would usually go, but it is very concise and to the point of exactly why they built this store, what problems they had, and why they decided to fill that gap in the market for you, their ideal buyers. So really, really, really good example of a perfect about section here. The only other thing that I would add, however, is when you're building an about section, like right here above the title, if you will, is the location to be able to add in, I think, 4 to 5 photos. I think you can even add a video in there. So I would say something like that, again, just to keep commerce human and show me like who you are, because I'm seeing Natalie is the owner, but I don't see Natalie, if you know what I mean. So I would just say if you can add that as the photos would be cool. All right, so the next thing I want to do is actually see what's selling, because I want to see what my thought would be is, are these featured for a reason? So are these currently her top sellers, or is she just pushing these because they're new? We'll find out. So let's go ahead and analyze maybe. There we go. So we're analyzing the Moonflow Studio today. You can see we're analyzing 17 listings, which is what she has in total. Let's bring the sales volume to at the top. Take a little glass of water while we do that. Okay, let's see. Let's make this a little bit bigger because it's for some reason saying she only has one sale. All right, so what we have sold so far, so 5, 8, 11, 12, 13, 14. So give or take, we're tracking around 14 sales. I know it says 16, don't know where the other ones are, but we're seeing that this one has sold 5 times. This one has sold 3. This one has sold 3, etc. So if I were to go back, would I see those is the question in her featured. So yes, this was there. Yes, this was there. So that is the perfect way for you guys. If you're ever wondering what should I feature, you can do what Tumble into Tumblers did at first and go seasonally based, or you can do what my friend here is doing at Moonflow. I forgot the name of it. I'm so sorry. Moonflow Studio is doing and focusing on the ones that have sold really well in the shop. And that's simply because those things are obviously doing well because people are purchasing them. So why hide them? If you do have those being purchased often, if someone comes to your store and they do make sense as your target audience, why put them in the jumble, even though we only have 17? Why put them in the jumble? Let's put them right there at the top. So great work there. The next thing I want to do, as always, is just go ahead and scroll. There's not a lot here, so I'm just going to scroll and hope that I click on one. There we go. All right, let's see here. This one is, let's go ahead and close some things out so I don't accidentally click on the wrong things, because I will. All right, so welcome to womanhood. Ooh, I like that. Very cute. All right, so printable first period card, instant download digital PDF. So the good news is you're actually doing a really great job at what Etsy kind of was looking for. However, I think it might be hurting us a little bit with visibility simply because this is such a small niche. So we might need to do things that kind of cross over into another space like wellness, let's say spiritual wellness, sexual wellness, feminine wellness, whatever it is, like whatever's going to make sense for what you are currently selling. We might want to think about going into those spaces as well with our SEO, because right now we are not being seen nearly as much as we probably should have. Also, when I see welcome to womanhood, I don't know what this is without going into the listing itself. So on this particular, thumbnail, if I were just a random searcher or scroller, I wouldn't see what I need to make this decision because all it says is welcome to womanhood and it's on a bark. It's on a piece of wood, right? So what is this? You need to tell me something in the thumbnail to get me to click into it. Other than I do see printable first period card, right? But like maybe that's not something that makes sense to them until you give them more information. So that's what I would recommend right here. I think this is another example. That's actually, to be honest, this is actually a better thumbnail because it's telling me what I'm getting, a little bit more. Let's see if we get some more information. Cool. That's helpful. Very helpful information. So I'm actually liking all of the photos. There's no questions in my head. However, this right here is a really good example. Why do people have this? Why do women have this? Pull this up to the top. That should be like your second or third photo because I don't know why I would purchase this person. And I am a woman. So if that makes you, see that like I am your target audience or my daughter in the future could be your target audience. And I don't know why I would give her this. So giving this up there is going to give that context and really be emotionally resonant with them. So I would move this one up to the top. And again, I would do something to make this make more sense for why someone would want to purchase this. Also, just thinking out loud again, because this is a printable digital download, I highly recommend you go ahead and do that same exercise we just did a second ago to really focus on the price, because $5 for a printable is a little bit more expensive than people are used to on Etsy. However, it's very, very unique. It's very, very niche down. It's very valuable. It's very emotional, right? So think about, I don't think we have to like lower the price necessarily, but we need to elevate the listing and the value if we're going to have a higher price. So figuring out which of one of those two you want to go with. So at this time, simply because of the price, and because if I was looking at this from afar, I wouldn't know what it is, I'm going to say I wouldn't necessarily purchase this for those two reasons. But if those two things got adjusted, I absolutely would. Okay. Let's move on to the next one. Again, please, guys, don't forget to pop your questions and thoughts in the comments. Again, trying to make this as fast as possible so I can get to those quick for you guys. All right, hot takes and keepsakes. Really good example right here of what I don't want us to do. So we don't need to have first of all, this is like super pixelated, so that's not really helpful for mobile nor desktop optimization. Use my feedback from the first two to adjust your banner. The featured items. So let's see, we have 47 sales. So my thought is, theoretically speaking, again, should be one of those are being sold. So homemade rolls was sold. Hello, come on, little buddy. I can't get this thing to scroll for some reason. I don't know what's going on. Come on, there we go. All right, it looks like the dance team and marching band is doing well in honor, in Heather Cox Richardson retrust. I like that. So go ahead and I would pop that one up to the top, your dance team or your marching bands up to the top. I'm trying to see if there's any more patterns in here. It looks like your grandpa stuff is actually doing well as well. I don't know what's going on with Etsy, but I can't scroll. It looks like your grandpa stuff is also doing well too. So that's what I like to personally do, is really think about, again, are we basing things on seasonality, or are we basing things based on best sellers that have actually worked out for you? Doesn't matter to me which option you choose, but I think we can probably replace these three with things that have done well. I'm also seeing that you're doing a sale on your shop, but I don't know if the sale is, I don't want to say good enough, but if it's bringing these down to what they should be, again, I would just look at your pricing versus your competitors. If we were doing homemade rolls and it had like personalization to it, maybe a onesie could be worth $14.40, but it's going to be very, very hard to find a onesie that is I don't want to say generic, but it's something that anyone technically could purchase on Etsy from anyone. It's going to be very hard to convince them to buy that for like $15. If we're thinking personalization, different story. So like if we're personalizing this, for example, I think, going above $14 makes sense. But just keeping in mind, what are you offering? What is the value proposition? And what are your competitors offering as well? What I will say also is your thumbnails are fantastic. I know exactly what I'm getting. There's not too much distracting, except for this one. This one's a little distracting, but everything else looks great. I would just, this one right here, for example, I would just switch it to this. That's a really great one where I see a little bit of the laptop. I know what I'm working with. So just use that for your mouse ones, for example, but everything else is very clean. I know exactly what I'm getting. You have a lot of sections, which is definitely helping out with SEO here. Christmas gifts 2025. Fantastic. That is a really good one. Holiday teas 2025. Like anything where you can put a year or a holiday on it, those are usually always going to do better. Let's go ahead and scroll a little bit. I'm not going to close my eyes anymore, to be honest. All right, so we are looking at a pink Christmas phone case, Grand Millennial Cottage. I don't know what this is. Grand Millennial Cottage Core. I have never heard of that in my life. So supposedly you guys are way, way farther into the trends than I am, because I have not heard of that yet. But anyways, I think this is really, really cool. I love that you're going that way. If there is proof of concept that people are selling these, or, there's sales volume in it. These are good. I actually kind of like, that's kind of a weird place for it, but I kind of like these. The only thing I would say is, we don't need any of these photos, unless it's to distinguish phones versus phones. Like for example, I just got the 17 the other day. So the 17 case looks very different than my 15 case did before. So if that's what you're doing, definitely recommend, but just having a bunch of these, like I think that's the same photo. So just making sure that like you're really utilizing these to your benefit. This is not selling me. Like tell me how big it is. Tell me what the case is for. Tell me if it's indestructible. Is it like an OtterBox? Like, can I personalize it? Whatever. I want to see those in the photos. So first and foremost, the photos are not doing it for me so far. I think this is fine. Again, we're just keyword stuffing, but it's telling me what I'm getting, so it's fair. Let's see. Surface. That's interesting. So like glossy and matte, for example, I didn't even know you offered that because it wasn't in your photos. So what is glossy versus matte? How do I make that decision? Why would I know what either of those look like without you telling me? So that's what I mean by more photos that are a little bit more helpful. So $23.99. Again, I don't sell phone cases, so I am not sure if this is good or not, but just do that exercise again because I fear that this might be a little bit more expensive than it needs to be on Etsy, unless, again, we have the option to personalize or if this is a super, super unique design. So that's my feedback on that. And it looks like, just really quick again, your description is coming directly from Printify. And that is unfortunately kind of, I don't want to say you're lazy, but it is a lazy way to attract buyers or to handle a listing. So make sure that you're also making those changes and you're not just pulling things from Printify and photos. As of right now, because of the photos, because of the lack of knowledge that I have about this item, because of the price, and again, the lack of knowledge coming from the lack of description, I'm going to say I'm not going to purchase this right now. Move on to the next one. I really hope I get to purchase one soon, guys. It's been 4 for 4, unfortunately, but that's what we're here for, right? We're getting there. We're making this all together. All right, moving on to Ruby Merch Baby & Co. They only have 5 sales, which I'm surprised about because they're actually really, really cute stuff. So it might be an SEO thing that we're dealing with. But I love this. Cute baby and family gifts. I would remove this. POD and digital downloads. Unless someone works in POD, they're not going to know what that is as a shopper. So I would just put custom baby and family gifts right here and remove everything else. These are cool, but that's not what you're actually selling me. So I would put an actual image of what you're selling digitally over here and an actual image of what you're selling physically over here. Featured items, Tiny Elf's First Christmas, very cute. Milk Monster, that's adorable. These are cute. Life of a Baby Girl. That's a little risque. I think you're fine, but this is probably giving a little bit of the Life of a Showgirl, which we all know is very, very copyrighted. So just keep that in mind. I think the Life of a Baby Girl is fine, but just be mindful that like it could be leaning into that scary territory. Too cute to wear ugly sweaters. I love these hatched together as like twins. That's really cute too. So I mean, these are actually really, really cute ideas. And I love that you are sticking to the baby theme. So we have shirts, we have onesies, we have long sleeve onesies, we have swaddle blankets, plush blankets, whatever. So you are literally sticking to exactly what you told us you were going to do, which I love. The only thing that I'm thinking is, there might be some SEO issues because, to be honest, if you're looking at your shop as a whole, you should have way more sales, in my opinion. So let me go ahead and just pick one real quick. Oh, yay. I'm glad I picked a Sherpa fleece blanket. And I'm glad because I wanted to see those. All right. So first of all, it looks like you're just taking things from Printify, which again is not going to help boost your listing necessarily. We're also having 2 views. Like I should be able, like this one's helpful because it is obviously in a nursery, but this is not giving me baby at all. It's just showing me on a couch. It's showing it bundled up, right? So what can we do in these 20 spaces for photos that we have now? What can we do to really, really focus on how this is going to be helpful to a mom, how this is going to coddle a baby, how it's going to soothe it to sleep, how it's going to match their coquette themed nursery? I don't see any of that in here. Price also might be a little bit too big. I'm not entirely sure, but I would double check. It looks like your pricing goes up and down depending on size. But again, double check exactly what's going on. Same thing here. We're using a very bland description from Printify. Let me go ahead and go to product analytics on this one just to see what we're dealing with. So we have a 0% visibility score. Oh, well, that's a really good example. I don't know if there is a bug on EverBee right now that is causing this, so I don't want to speak ill. But if it's not, you don't have any tags on this listing, and we only have Sherpa Fleece Blanket as the title. So that is 100% why our visibility score is so low. If there is a bug, however, on EverBee, and you do have tags and I'm just not seeing it, I do apologize, but this gives me exactly what I needed when I was confused as to why this wasn't selling. All right, let's go to the next one. Quest and Hughes is where we are going next. Got a couple more to go through. Oh, this is awesome. So this is actually 234 sales, 2.5 years on Etsy. This is a lot of stuff. It's a little pixelated, but it's okay. I like it. Quest and Hughes, style is the ultimate accessory. And I'm seeing that they have like luggage, make me tee-hee for fun apparel and gifts. our other store. Oh, that's interesting. That's fine. I think that's fine. Usually Etsy doesn't like you to click out of Etsy, but in this case, you'll be clicking into Etsy. So I think this is actually a really, really cool idea. So the banner is good. I would give them a star on that. Featured items. Wow, that's expensive. I don't know if I don't sell luggage, so I don't know for sure if this is where it should be. However, you've been making a lot of sales, so who am I to judge? So let me go ahead and go to product analytics and see what our top sellers were. And let's go ahead and do it for the last 3 months, because I want to see a little bit longer of a period of time than just the past month. All right, so we're seeing a beach towel. We're seeing this one did sell at $227. This one also at $227, $298. This Weekender bag at $89. Okay, so it looks like people are buying them at those prices. So looks like there was no issue on those whatsoever. No need to remove your prices, it looks like, unless you want to place just a little discount on things to increase sales volume. But it looks like actually your towels were doing really well in the summer. So I would just come in here and have an idea of like which designs were doing well, and maybe we make more of those designs. So let's just say this one, for example, French, y'all know I can't say that word if you've been here, toile, whatever that word is, Toile, with cream roses. This is something that maybe we should apply to another item. So maybe it's a towel, maybe it's a blanket, maybe it's a luggage, whatever it is, because that's obviously doing well for you. All right, let's go ahead and, oh, these are also cool. Toiletry and makeup bags, really, really good. Luxury leather bags, duffel bags, weekender bags, perfect. I think these are great. I don't understand cityscape tops for what you have going on in the shop personally, unless the concept is because you travel a lot, you're gonna maybe want to wear this like New York City shirt potentially. But anyways, I think otherwise what you have in your sections is good. Let's go ahead and click one together. Share this tab instead. Oh, it's actually really cute. All right, so suitcase, rolling luggage carry-on, cabin suitcase with wheels, blah, blah, blah. I would actually switch this title up significantly because I want it to have New York at the front. New York City, New York, whatever you want to do. Also, it looks like we are pretty much using only... Oh, that's weird. Something's wrong here. I don't know if you knew this, but it looks like we're only using the things from Printify, if I'm not mistaken. But then it also has another design on it that's unrelated to what we are trying to sell. So I would make sure we actually only have 4 photos, and one of them is the back of the luggage that is related to this item. So that could be definitely helping or not helping with the sales themselves. Again, here it looks to be very focused on a Printify description. So because of the price, because of the photos or lack thereof, and because of the lack of knowledge that I'm getting from the description, I'm going to have to say no to this one as well. However, the good news is you are making a lot of sales at a very high price point. So this is going to be a perfect example of what we're going to talk about next week with profitability. So let's go ahead and share this tab and go to the next one. All right, since we only have about 3 more minutes for 10:50, I'm going to go ahead and go through this last one, and then I'm going to get to your questions. If I have time to come back to the remaining 4, I will. But if not, we're going to go ahead and close it out at 11 after seeing these, because hopefully you guys have been able to see enough information from everybody else's shop to help yours out as well. So we're looking at Crazy for Corgis, which makes me really excited. Gifts for the Corgi lovers in your life. I love that. The only thing I would say is let's see the designs that you're selling rather than the corgi. So maybe there's 1 corgi and then there's 2 designs that you have. That would be great. 133 sales. Oh, sweet. This is really cool. Wait, is this a corgi? I don't think so. So if you're going to be selling to corgis, I want you to stick to corgis. If not, then remove that, because right now I'm seeing poinsettias, nutcrackers, snowflakes, whimsical stuff, whatever. I love that you have a corgi and cardinal. I love that you have a corgi with the red balls, but the other stuff doesn't really make a ton of sense. However, I really, really love the designs that you have. I'm liking most of the thumbnails. There's a couple of them that kind of are getting overlooked a little bit. Like this one, I mean, I know what we're selling, but I would want to zoom in a lot. This one I can kind of see, but I'd want to zoom in a lot on that. I'd want to zoom in a lot on this umbrella, for example, again, if it's applicable to your business. This one doesn't have anything to it. It's just something straight from Printify. Same thing with these. So you just really recommend taking each listing as an opportunity to change your life and change your income. And I know, unfortunately, on Etsy, a lot of people don't do that. They just see how many freaking listings can I get live. And I personally like to do it the other way, where I'm going to have 20 listings and they're all going to be significantly high quality. And then I'm going to do high quality SEO, and I'm going to do high value, and I'm going to have a unique value proposition. It's going to be targeting one person, and then I'm going to make more sales than someone that has 500 listings. So I know quantity is usually what is pushed on here. And I do think that's okay. I mean, if you can get 500 quality listings out, please do it, because that's just 500 more opportunities to get found. But if you're skimping on some listings because you're having to focus on uploading new listings, that's not a strategy that I would ever recommend. All right. I like what we're doing here, though. Really, really good examples on these sections. Let's see what we got going on this listing. Here we go. All right. We wish you a fluffy Christmas, I'm assuming is what that says. Very cute. But again, the thumbnails are not really helping me. Why would I want this? What am I going to write in here? In a Yappy New Year, that's cute. Why is this important? What is the size? How many am I getting? Because this right here looks like I'm getting 20 of them. What if I only wanted one? Is that an option? Like, I don't know the answers to these questions because you're not giving me the answer. So what I really, really want you guys to focus on in your description and your photos is what we went through today. If someone came to this and they were the perfect ideal buyer for the item, can I close them because I answered all of their questions? Because they're going to have those questions just like I did. I did not write any of this stuff down before I got here. It's all questions that came to my head while I was going through your listing. So how can you make sure that all of those questions are answered 100%? And if you're still not selling at that point, maybe it's the price. Maybe we need to do free shipping. Like, there's a couple of other things that we can play with. But if you answered all of their potential questions or handled all of their potential objections, there usually is going to be a yes at the end of it. So with that said, 3187. Okay, so this is actually a great point. 8/16/24. I didn't even know this existed. And also, why am I spending $80 on 24 non-personalized? If they were personalized, maybe, but non-personalized greeting cards. So I see that you have a 25% off sale right now. But again, I don't know if that is aligned with what other people are currently selling. So please be mindful of that. Do that little exercise we did with the first shop today. And then also Corgi Christmas greeting cards, holiday pet lover, Yappy New Year. 99% sure none of this is being looked up except for maybe Corgi Christmas greeting cards. But I would say like tell me what I'm getting. 8, 16, or 24 piece set of Corgi Christmas inspired greeting cards. Holiday stationery. Like, I'm just really thinking of this on the spot, but something of that nature. This is not, again, getting you seen or found, and then this and these photos are not getting people to buy when they do find you. And let me just see really fast for the description. Yeah, it's the exact same thing that we're dealing with on the other ones. Also right here, this is not really helping you at all as a seller. So just, again, if you're going to upload a lot of stuff, I would just make sure that we are really, really focused on making them as high quality as possible without sacrificing the quality of some to invest in building others. Okay. With that said, I'm going to go ahead and open the comments for the last little bit of today. Excuse me. Because we got a lot of comments and questions here. So we had some people saying they were coming from Florida, Pennsylvania. We have Palm Beach, Colorado, Chicago. Oh my God. Laser Etching said that I'm 32 miles away from them. That's crazy. Yeah, I'm in Lansing, Michigan, unfortunately. And you can hear the southern twang when I say Lansing. Someone's right outside of DC. We have a UK person. Ocala, Florida. That's awesome. That's actually, I went to University of Florida for school. So I was right next to Ocala for about 5 years. All right, so our first question for today. I created a new store, but I'm not happy with the images. How can I redo the images? Also, recommended size is not correct. I tried to download my image. I did in Canva myself, but it's terrible. Weird. I don't know what's going on there. Recommended sizing images. Let me just see real fast because I don't know it off the top of my head. So Etsy thumbnail photo size. Oops, shoot. I did the wrong thing. 1 second. So it says that that's 2000 by 1500, a 4:3 ratio. So if you're using 2000 by 1500 px and it's not working, I would say scale it up a little bit or turn it into an SVG, turn it into maybe more high res, because when you say it's terrible, it might just be a pixelation issue. So just making sure that you're using that 27, I think it was, 2000 by 1500 pixels and see if it works. How can I redo the images is a weird question because you make your own images. So I'm not entirely sure what you mean by redo them, unless you're getting things from Printify and syncing them to your store, which, as we went over today, is not a good idea. So you actually create all of your own images in Canva if that is the way you want to go, or you simply just take images yourself, which is always my suggestion, and then doing maybe UGC from your friends and family or your actual buyers. How do I drive more traffic to my shop as a new seller without any top selling items? SEO and Etsy ads doesn't seem to work for me. That's the very, very passive way of saying we're probably doing SEO and Etsy ads wrong, because SEO, it's not that it's just not working for you. I hate to say this, but we're not special as individuals. We're not special as individual shop owners, and I'm putting we in that category. It's not just you. So when someone's like, "Well, the algorithm hates me," not true. The algorithm does not know who you are, and they do not give a crap about us, to be honest. It's really just the algorithm is science, and it is literally just a numbers game. So sales volume equals, I'm going to, as an algorithm, push people over there. Favorites, even if there is no sales volume, the algorithm is going to push people over there because it's showing that people like it. So what I would say is encouraging favorites. You can add that into one of your photos. So if you like this image, but you're not ready to buy listing. If you like this item and you're not ready to buy quite yet, make sure to add it to your favorites so that you can come back and if there's a discount in the future, whatever it is. So encouraging favorites is one thing. SEO, just making sure that we are really, really focusing on lower competition. So you're not doing things like Tumblr, like we mentioned earlier, could be like, it could be searched 7,000 times a month, but there could also be 2 million people in competition. So when we're really thinking about SEO, think about what the item is, who the item is for, and what your ideal buyer would actually be typing into the search engine on Etsy. Etsy ads do not work whatsoever if your listings are not optimized. So if we go back to the fact that maybe you're not being pushed in the algorithm because the listings are not optimized, putting money behind Etsy ads is not going to make that listing optimized. You're just going to be wasting your cash. So just keeping that in mind, I would look at both of those. Do Etsy section names play a role in SEO, or is it only to help customers navigate once they're already on their shop? The answer is yes to both, actually. So yes, it does help with SEO. That's why I mentioned that multiple times for sections today. Instead of just tumblers, adding holiday tumblers for moms, whatever it is, those are things that absolutely can drive traffic to your shop. But again, they also help categorize your items and make it easier for the buyer. What is your opinion, on making duplicate listings in your shop? Is it recommended, and if worth doing, if the listings, titles, and tags, etc., is different, or if the pictures are different? Great question. So Aaron, what I want to do here is I usually recommend, so first of all, to answer your duplicated question, yes, we always recommend duplicating listings, but we only really want to change like one absolute maximum 2 things when we duplicate that listing. So for example, we change the photos. We change the thumbnail photo because that's the most important piece because that's what they see, the biggest thing, right? We change the tags and the title. We add some different attributions, whatever it is. Like that's the things that I would change individually. I would not change all of them whenever you duplicate a listing, because then you're never going to know what in the world helped that listing scale or held that listing back because you changed so many things. So is it recommended to be pictures versus SEO? I don't think that there is one that's better than the other. I would recommend maybe even 3 listings. So one could be your original. The second one could be one with your photo adjusted. The third one could be one with your SEO adjusted, something like that. Because I don't think there is one that is better than the other. However, please keep in mind that your photo is the first thing that someone sees, because we're humans and it's visually appealing, right? So that's always probably going to be the sexiest thing. However, if you don't have the right SEO and you're not matching searchers or buyers' intent, you're never going to show up for them to then be attracted to the photo in the first place. So again, I don't think either one of them is more important necessarily. But if the photo is the most important element, but they can't even see your photo because you never got shown to them in search, the argument could be SEO is more important. So hope all that makes sense, guys. It looks like someone said they're in Jackson, Michigan. That's awesome. That's actually where my husband is from. So we met on Tinder, no shame, back in 2016, and then he moved to Lansing with me when we got married. So that's cool that you're in Jackson. That's about 40 or so, 35 or 40 minutes from me. So hi, neighbor. All right, guys, that's all I have time for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you guys got a lot out of this because we went through multiple different styles of shops, went through multiple different would I buy this situations, and hopefully you got the context as to why. So now why I would or why I wouldn't. So now you can take that and apply it to your own store. As always, I want to make sure that you guys are aware that next week we do have Adam coming from Pentane. We're going to talk all about profitability, which is going to be really, really, really helpful for you guys on Etsy or off Etsy. Then I'm going to have Jenny from the shop the following week. So I really, really hope I can see you guys in 2 weeks, or next week and in 2 weeks. I do have one more question though, so everybody can hop off if you'd like, but I do want to motivate to Elevate's question. I'm having technical issues with my domain connection. Should I use EverBee's domain until I get domain connection? So they're talking about their EverBee store. So really quickly, I just want to show you guys this. Maybe. 1 second. Just going to present this really quick. And of course, if you guys got to get off, no problem whatsoever. Please do. Just going to answer this from Motivate to Elevate real quick. So if you're having issues with your domain connection, I do recommend that you go ahead and just utilize this one for now, which is going to be right here. So evolutiondesigns.myeverbee.com for the interim. But if you are struggling with maybe there's something that's wrong, let's say you use GoDaddy for your domain hosting and you can't seem to connect them, feel free to reach out to us literally at any time at hello@everbee.io, and the customer success team will jump right in there and figure out how to help you. If it's something that you're already working with through your domain provider, however, we might not be able to help, but just know that if that's something that you can't seem to figure out within EverBee, hit us up at hello@everbee.io and the customer success team will jump right in. Okay. Thank you guys so much for coming today. I hope you guys enjoyed this and I will see you guys next Thursday. Have a great weekend. It's my birthday. See ya. Bye guys.